Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be doing my AFL round 3 tips and predictions, and we'll compare my round 2 results to round 3, and then we'll see how well I do in the end. So if we go over to, before we get into it, remember to like and subscribe, and then hopefully we can see some good growth, and there'll be more videos that you guys want. And get your predictions down in the comment section below. So now let's get into the video. So if we look over here, you can see my, if I full screen this, you can see my ladder prediction at the end of the round last round. I had Sydney, Collingwood, GWS going 2-0. That didn't happen. If I bring up, I'll bring it up on my phone and then I'll compare it. So if we look at the ladder, and if it wants to load, we have the true ladder is Sydney Swans first, which I had predicted them to go 2-0. Collingwood I predicted to go 2-0. They're still 2-0, but they're down in 4th. GWS is down in 10th at 1-1. Then I had Richmond going a win and a draw, and that's what they are, but they're in 6th place. Essendon 1-1 in this prediction, but in reality they're 2-0 and healthy percentage as well as 160. Melbourne 1-1, and that's right, and their percentage roughly the same. Freo 1-1, but they're 0-2 with a percentage of 88. Port Adelaide 1-1, and they are 1-1, but they have a percentage of 92. St Kilda in this prediction was 1-1. And they are 2-0 and a really good percentage of 171, and they're in 2nd place. Then Geelong 0-2 in the actual. Bulldogs are 0-2. Melbourne's 2-0, and they're sitting in North Melbourne's 2-0, and they're sitting in 5th. Then you got Gold Coast, who are 0-2 in reality. Brisbane 0-2. Carlton are just Carlton have the actual win. They got the win over Geelong, so they're 1 loss, 0 draws, 1 win, 0 losses, and 1 draw, and they're around about the same as Richmond. And then West Coast have won the game against GWS, so they're 1-1. Then you got Adelaide, who are 0-2, and Hawks 0-2, like I said in this tips prediction. So we go on to tips for round 3, and so first up we have Western Bulldogs versus Brisbane. I think either team, looking at here, Brisbane, they're both in the bottom half. One of the teams, I believe it's going to be Western Bulldogs. Probably the season's on the line in this game, and you really got to see, is the forward, the really key forwards going to step up for the Bulldogs? Do I think that'll happen? Probably not. So I'm going to tip a Brisbane win by 24 points, as I just think the Bulldogs are falling flat, and I don't think they're going to win as many games as I even predicted in the preseason. I just see them losing game after game at this point, and Brisbane, I think with that midfield, will just dominate and they'll beat them up. So 24-point victory. Then we come to Collingwood Richmond, and this game is, in essence, I really think it's a toss-up, maybe like 55% the Collingwood, but it's really tight, this game. You have two sides, they're in the 8 at the moment, both undefeated effectively, and Richmond are really looking to, I guess, make up for that game against Carlton, where they really should have won that. And Collingwood's just looking to go on and keep up with the train, so I think Collingwood probably wins this by, I think, 2 goals. I don't think they blow them out like they used to, but I think they win a close one like they did all of last year. And I just think you'll see, I really liked the game of Bobby Hill and others, and Dacos, unless he gets tagged potentially sort of by Trent Cotchin, I just see him dominating and really using the ball really well. So I just see a Collingwood win here. And then you have North versus Hawthorn, and if you were to think about this game in preseason, you'd probably say it's really close, but now after 2 rounds, they're at either end of the ladder pretty much, and my head says take the easy bet of North, but almost my heart says that Hawthorn are going to pull it together. I think Sam Mitchell's going to get him in there and really pull them together to win this game. But I just think I have to almost go with the safe bet at the moment of just tipping the North by like 10, 12 points or so, and then winning that, as I think they've really shown that they can, I guess, at least compete at a very good level for 3.5 or so quarters, and really almost put the game beyond doubt, and then just sort of relax. And it almost cost them against Freo, but I think against lower sides they can blow them away earlier. So going North by 12. Then you come to the Giants versus Carlton game, and I think it's just got to be Carlton at this point, even though you have Kelly and Whitfield coming back in for the Giants. You're still missing, I think, Perryman and stuff, and other couple of players. So I think Carlton will come back stronger. I think Carlton also have George Hewitt coming back from injury, from a hand injury, so that should help their midfield a lot. Even with Sam Walsh being out, they still have a much stronger midfield, in my opinion. So I think they'll be able to do that. And I think Paddy Cripps has a really good game here, solidifying why he won the Brownlow last year. So I think they win it by 25 points. Then you have St Kilda versus Essendon, and this is a tough one because St Kilda really can blow teams away, as in just not concede points. And then I think they've conceded something like 90 or 100 points all year. So, and Essendon can really stack it on quite quickly. So it's going to be a test of, I guess, a good offense in Essendon and a really good defense. Almost the best defense in the comp at the moment in St Kilda. So who do I think is going to win? They're both 2-0, so one team's going to drop points and probably drop out of the 8 almost, or probably not because they have such good percentages. And I just think with the midfield of the Essendon, I think with Setterfield coming in to fill that third midfielder, and you'll have a really strong 4-man midfield of Shield, Merritt, Parrish and Setterfield that outdoes St Kilda, especially after St Kilda lost Jack Steele to a collarbone injury for a month. So I'm going to pick Essendon by 20 points. Then you come to Port versus Adelaide, and I think the thing is, if you were to talk about these two teams at the moment, and they weren't rivals, I'd say Port by about 30 or so, because Adelaide have been really underwhelming kicking-wise. Their efficiency in front of goal is really bad, and Port, although they did play a really good game against Brisbane and a really terrible game against Collingwood, and got either end of the draw, I guess, 50-point outings, I guess. So you would say that, but I'm going to pick Port, but I think it's going to be a really good showdown, and I think it's somewhere under 15 points, and I'm going to go 9 in this game. Then you have Gold Coast versus Geelong, and I think this is the start of the Geelong run that we're going to see, where they go on a big run and they solidify themselves back into the 8. Maybe they might not get into the 4, but they can solidify themselves back into the 8 within 2 or 3 rounds here. And I just think Gold Coast at the moment, the way they look like an absolute travesty outside of their midfield. If you take away Witts, Rowell and Tuke Miller, it almost feels like a VFL side. That's how bad they've been playing. So I think Geelong get it done, but I believe Jeremy Cameron's out, and Tom Hawkins is undercooked. He's underdone at the moment, so he's going to have to play through and try and almost play these first 5 or 6 games with almost as a preseason. So that's why I think he won't perform as well. He will probably only kick 2 or 3, as he just doesn't look good movement-wise. But I just think that Scott will finally use Bruin in the midfield and break the game open a lot, and use his, I guess, just run to help out the Geelong side. And I think they win it by 18 points. I think 3 goals is fair. Then you come to Melbourne versus Sydney, and this one, like I said in the Collingwood-Richmond game, could go either way. I do have to say that Melbourne hasn't played well against Sydney in the last couple of... I shouldn't say haven't played well. Sydney has had the ledger over them, winning, I think, the last 3, or is it only 2? It's 2 or 3 games, including games at the MCG. So, with a little bit of my bias here, I'm going to pick the Swans, but I'm only going to pick him by a tight one, and pick him by 9 points in this game. Then you have another derby, so another tight game, and you got Freo versus West Coast, and you'd have to think Freo finally found a little bit in that last 5 minutes against St Kilda, so you'd have to pick them. But West Coast have actually been surprisingly alright to this point. So this is the last game of the round, and I think you got to pick not West Coast. I think you got to. I'm just gonna pick a safe pick and pick Freo. I think Andy Brayshaw has a really good game, or Andrew Brayshaw has a really good game and really turns the tide and helps Freo win this by 14 points. I do think you will see the classic bust up in the game as well. I wonder who will set it off. It'll probably be Caleb Sarong, out of all people. And he'll probably have his jumper ripped. They'll see a brawl at, what time does this game start? Probably like 6 p.m. And we'll get to see that for Sunday night. So I'm going to go Freo by 14 points. And that's the predictions. You can see here the ladder that I've got. I've still got, 4, effectively 5 undefeated teams and 4 teams that without a win after this round, which is quite crazy after 3 rounds, that's the case. I think Sydney, if they win, they'll hold on to their percentage enough to keep the ledger over Essendon. I think Collingwood keeps their high percentage, and then we see the likes of Hawthorn 0-3. I wonder if Hawks even win a game. It's to the point now that you're starting to think, they might only win 1 or 2 games here. And then, yeah, you got a lot of teams here, 1 and 2, 2 and 1, and they will sort of even themselves out, I guess, across the season to sort of how we sort of predicted them. So, yeah, that's the video there, and I'll see you guys in another video. There'll be playlists up in the corner for other content, and I'll see you guys in another video. Thanks, guys. Goodbye.